A little bit. I know. It's okay. I'm just joking, huh?
But not really. I can hear you.
I have my headphones on. She can't hear you.
I know. I can see that.
So why were you yelling that?
It's just a joke, Dave. Ha ha ha.
Okay. Yep. All right. All right, cool. So, yeah. So just jump right in. Do a quick intro, and then just kind of just turn things over, and just start talking. Does that work for you guys?
Yeah, do it. Sorry, we're
Okay.
distracted by this game that he's never seen. Go ahead. Simon says. You
Yeah.
remember Brain Shift?
Yeah.
Good talk.
Yeah. I remember it. It's loud. Whatever is happening with the shifting or whatnot.
Accidentally. I don't think it has any batteries. It does not. All right, go ahead.
Okay. You guys good?
We're good.
Hun, are you good? Okay. Thank you. Um, I know. I appreciate it. Hey everyone, welcome to a special episode of the Bros Talking Soccer podcast brought to you by Fan Futsal. As always, my name is Dave and I'm here with my brother Christian, and we're joined by a special guest today, Steve Bernasconi from the Soccer Tour. Steve, how's the East Coast Cannell household treating you?
Your family's great, man, and I'm not just saying that because I've got your brother sitting in front of me, threatening me to say that. But no, it's been great. It's been very welcoming. And despite this chilly weather, the hospitality has been very warm.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Christian, how are you doing?
Dave, I couldn't be any better today.
Do you want to elaborate on why?
Sure, yeah, the Liverpool game was just exquisite in the second half. I was very down in the dumps at halftime, but at halftime I went in the kitchen, started making some breakfast. Like that's what did it.
That's what it was.
It changed our luck.
It was the bacon.
There it is. Bacon solves all problems. So there you have it. Awesome. Well, that's good to hear. I'm excited too. I got up early for the game. The first half was absolutely terrible, but the second half turned things around. So I'm in a much better mood too. So ready to podcast here. So let's get right into it because I know you guys got a busy day. So Steve, I know you've probably been asked this hundreds of times at this point, but can you just give us a real quick background on kind of the soccer tour, what you're doing and why you're doing it?
Sure. So I'm a huge fan of the game. Played it as a kid. I've worked in the professional game in the front office, and I'm just in love with soccer. And at this point in my life, I also wanted to travel and see more of my beautiful country. And so I just kind of figured out a way to combine two of those passions of mine, and I came up with this thing called the soccer tour. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm visiting as many professional teams and amateur teams across the country. I'm watching one Major League Soccer game at every team stadium, and I've also added more than 24 matches from various other leagues, be it NASL, USL, NPSL, NWSL. I'll catch a few women's games, and I'm really just trying to experience the best and maybe even the worst that soccer has to offer in the U.S. and Canada. So I'm meeting people as I go. I'm conducting interviews. I'm finding stories and I'm sharing them. And above all, I'm just having a really, really fun experience. And that to me is the most important.
Yeah, it's awesome. When I first heard about it, I think on the Howler podcast, and just immediately reached out to you and totally jealous of what you're doing, and so I was very supportive of it. And so, can you tell people kind of how they can support your project with Patreon?
Yeah, absolutely. So a big thing about this project is the fact that I'm just a regular guy. I don't have any big sponsors behind me. I don't have any huge financial means behind me. So it's self-funded, and there's a component of it where people who are interested in the project, people who believe in the project, can also contribute. So I'm on a website called Patreon. It's Patreon. And basically, fans of the project can pledge as little as $2 a month up to about $20 a month. And that helps me cover expenses like food and gas. Um, and beyond that, there's other ways in which people can help out, like your family here in Philly, hosting me for a couple of days. People can collaborate. So the project is really about the soccer community as a whole. And so not only am I just trying to find them and share their stories, but I'm also relying on their support and their generosity in order to pull this thing off.
Yeah, and I gotta say the content has been awesome to follow on all the different channels. You're doing videos, you're doing good tweets, you have awesome pictures, you got a lot of good stuff. So anybody out there that wants to check it out, definitely follow. It's at the Soccer Tour, right? On pretty much every kind of social media platform.
That's correct. At the Soccer Tour and everything, and thesoccertour.com.
Awesome. Okay, so let's get into some fun questions here. So what's the one thing that you use in your van every day?
The one thing I use in my van every day. Let's see. Aside from the obvious. Good question. I don't even know. Mouthwash, probably.
Mouthwash?
I love the mouthwash. And I got these little flosser things. I'm just like addicted to them. They're little handheld picks, and I just floss my teeth as I drive. Maintain that good dental hygiene.
That's important.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Rated.
Yes. Christian, were you about to say something before, or no?
Yeah, I was just gonna tell you to don't be a big old jelly hater.
Oh,
because it sounded like you were being one earlier.
Jelly.
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely jelly. I mean, how can you not be? This is, he's living the dream here. I mean,
Trying to.
Yeah.
If anybody's watching right now, I really wish that under Dave's name right now, you could see the little subtitle that describes who he is. He's big old jelly hater, like Wendy Tessenberger in South Park.
Yep. So I don't really have a transition from that. So I'm just gonna plow through it here. Getting back to the van. I know you did an awesome kind of infographic when you were, I believe it was 30 days into the trip, and it said your mileage and all that. So how many miles are in the van at this point?
Just over. So the trip I've gone, I want to say like 4,000, maybe 300, 400 miles already. And the van itself is on probably just shy of 130,000.
Wow. Awesome. And so what's been your kind of favorite part of the tour? I know that probably is it may be a loaded question, but it could be an activity, place, event, or
yeah. There's a few. I mean, from a purely soccer perspective, I think that Orlando City Stadium, there's just nothing like it that I've ever been to. And standing in that wall and just the way that stadium, captures the sound and the intensity and everything like that from a soccer side has been the highlight. From a personal side, again, it's just getting to see all of these cities and getting to meet all of these people that maybe I wouldn't have had the ability to otherwise without doing this thing. So definitely the connections that I'm making with people, the relationships. I mean, even little things like last night, we did some painting and wine and alcohol thing at some place, and it was awesome. You show up with a bottle, and they teach you how to paint, and you have a fun time. And if you're Christian, you're frustrated at your lack of artistic abilities. But it's awesome, and that for me is probably almost more important than the soccer aspect. Is just the personal nature of the tour, meeting people, doing fun things, and growing and developing as a person.
What did you guys paint?
Oh, it was the worst, Dave. It was the worst.
No, it's the best. It was so much fun. So fun. Doing it again. We're going tonight.
Oh, yeah, is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
What was it?
Oh.
What was it?
City Hall. We painted City Hall.
City Hall? Okay. So do you each paint it yourself, or do you paint it as a group?
No.
They give you everyone's got a blank canvas,
Okay.
which is kind of like the outline of the building traced out, and then they show you step by step, like, okay, here's how we're gonna paint this thing.
Yeah, we start with the background of the sky, and when I messed that up already, I had already given up. It was already going downhill from there.
So do we have pictures of this?
Yeah, I got a few. I think they're on my social media. But like
nice.
One
Okay.
guy guys. I don't know. They just completely gave up a few minutes in.
It was so fun. One of them drew a smiley face on it.
The other guy, it looked like he just took his hands and just like swirled the paint. It was just like, I'm done. I'm over it.
He was just there for the wine.
And then one guy
he was there for the wine. Exactly.
One guy just drew a bunch of SpongeBob's on it.
Very good, very good. So circling back here, so what's kind of the best thing that you've eaten so far on the tour? If you have a favorite, genre of food or specific piece of food, dessert,
Yeah, I'm the least picky eater, so I've eaten everything. I've been eating a bunch of garbage. I've been eating fast food, but I have had a chance to try various regional or local dishes. So I think one of my favorites actually was in Savannah. I had this low country boil. I learned it was called later, and it was just like this. There's like potatoes and corn and shrimp and sausage just in this bowl of messiness, and I loved it. And then here in Philly, I had some. I think your mom made some. What are they called?
Candy cakes.
Tatty cakes.
Candy cakes.
Candy cakes. I never tried those before. Those are delicious. So yeah, it's been fun to try to just sample eating my way across America. Maybe I'll do a food tour next.
Oh yeah. Today before the Union game, I'm probably gonna get Pudge's, so we'll get a cheesesteak from Philly.
Yeah.
And also we're gonna do Philly Pretzel Factory. So he's getting some regional stuff in Philly as well.
Awesome. Yeah, those are good shouts. Pudge's is a good suburban cheesesteak. I definitely miss it out here on the West Coast. The sandwiches out here, I gotta say, pretty terrible. I'm calling out the West Coast. The bread out here is just, unless sourdough, I'll give them. They do that well, but the bread on the sandwiches it's just terrible out here.
I'm gonna plug Publix because I don't think you guys get Publix up here. And certainly not on the West Coast. But in the South, Publix is our supermarket chain, and they have the best subs. They have this one, chicken tenders. You put buffalo sauce on it and everything on a sandwich. 10 out of 10. Best thing you've ever eaten.
Okay. You got to take him to Wawa, Chris, if he hasn't been there yet.
Wawa.
What was that?
We went to Wawa yesterday, but yeah, I've been to Wawa.
Okay.
Cool place. Big fan.
Yeah. Yes, we are as well. So, Steve, I saw that you had a publisher potentially reach out to you about writing a book. Can you tell us at all about your thoughts on that, if that's going to happen, or just your potential on that?
Yeah, it was just a really cool thing to check my email on I don't know, Monday morning or something, Friday morning, and it was just like, wow, I can't believe someone is interested in publishing. I don't know how to write a book. I've never written a book. I don't know how people write books. But someone wants me to write a book. And then, I put a little tweet out about it, and people are excited to read my book. Which is it's kind of surreal. So I haven't made any commitments. I haven't made any decisions yet. I want to see if it's something that I'm, first off, interested in doing. Second off, if I'm even capable of doing. I don't just want to put a book out there just for the sake of, hey, look, I wrote a book. I want to make sure that the content is something that is engrossing and really captures what this thing has been about for me. But it is something that I'm thinking about, and if it's the right publisher and I've got the right idea for the book, then it's certainly something that I'd like to see happen.
I have a question.
Yeah, and I know I would definitely be a fan of that.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I got a question. So what are you most looking forward to doing in the future of your trip as well?
Ooh, most looking forward to doing. So much, honestly. How long do you want me to talk for? I haven't been to Canada yet, so I'm really looking forward to, at the end of the month, getting into Montreal and Toronto and Ottawa. Later in the year, there's some Gold Cup matches that I'll be going to. Excited for that. And then I haven't done much. I've done the East Coast extensively, but I haven't done much in the center of the country, the Midwest, and then certainly out west. Pacific Northwest, California. So I think just seeing all of these places that I've never been to, or maybe that I've visited but haven't had enough time in each of them. So definitely that sightseeing aspect of the tour is probably what I'm most looking forward to.
You don't have one specific place you're most looking forward to?
No, really don't.
All right.
Honestly, it sounds weird, but maybe Detroit actually, which is
That sounds horrendous.
right, exactly. Like why? But, yeah, I think well, it's twofold. One, I want to see, obviously Detroit City and that atmosphere and that game day and see what that's like. And then two, it's like right, we all hear just like how bad Detroit is or how it's like seen as like a third world country almost. And I don't know. I just kind of want to see that and be able to form some opinion on that. So Detroit, I'm coming for you.
Nice. Are you hitting any like landmarks along the way? Like, are you going to Grand Canyon or Mount Rushmore, or like, I don't know. Those are just the two that jump to my mind.
I don't think Mount Rushmore. I don't think I'll really be driving through what's that, South Dakota. I
think so. I don't even know.
Yeah, I think the Grand Canyon I'll probably do after the tour because it kind of finishes in California, and then I still have to drive back to Fort Lauderdale. So I'll probably do that in like I don't know, October, November on my drive home. But I have done some touristy things like in DC. Saw the monuments, went to a few of the Smithsonian museums. Here in Philly, I don't think we really seen any sites or anything yet, but Independence Hall, the Liberty Bell, things like that. So, if I'm going to all of these places, it definitely makes sense to at least kind of check it out if I can.
We're going to
Definitely
Xfinity Live with all the stadiums tonight,
right?
So he'll see all of those.
So that stacks up right next to Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Philadelphia sports. There's technical of what you want.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm actually most curious about kind of the non-MLS markets. So you touched on Detroit as one, and I know you've hit a couple like Charleston and a couple on the Eastern Seaboard already, and you'll probably have more experiences kind of as you go along. And so this may be a question for maybe when you're out here visiting me in September, but you kind of compare and contrast like kind of the difference between MLS markets versus non-MLS markets, the fan culture, the game day experience, kind of some of those things.
Yeah, I think my background comes from lower division soccer. I worked at a team in the NASL for years, and so that is kind of my, I don't want to say expertise, but I definitely am more familiar with the lower divisions than I am with MLS. And there's a certain beauty in the lower divisions because you get a real sense of community in the markets where it's done well. For an MLS team, you can sometimes get that, but you'll never get the access to the players and the coaches and the staff like you get in the lower divisions. So, some of the places I've been to, like in North Carolina FC, after the game, the players are hanging out at the bars with some of the fans, and throughout the week, they're friends with them and whatever else. And you don't really see that at the at the highest level because you just can't afford that type of access because these are some of the best in the country at what they do. But yeah, I think a lot of cool things are happening in the lower divisions. I think that's what fascinates me maybe more than MLS. Is a lot of these startup soccer clubs, we'll call them, and just the unique grassroots things that are happening when you don't have a big budget, when you might be in a smaller market. And sometimes it's cool, in some MLS markets, you're doing everything you can for attention because there's, you got big four sports in your backyard and you're trying to compete with them. Some of these lower league teams, despite being third division or fourth division or whatever it might be, you might be the biggest fish in town and the whole community is behind you. So I know that's true in places like Chattanooga, and that's just something that really excites me is a lot of this grassroots soccer, and I think that's the future of the game here, and that's what's going to push us to the next level.
I know he's really excited to see Colonial Soccer Club tomorrow play in USL 1 of PA.
Yep, I'm thrilled. I watched some amateur soccer, like Sunday league stuff in Richmond. I'll go watch Christian play today. So experiencing, yeah, exactly, experiencing the highs and the lows of everything I can.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more about the future of the sport kind of in this country and how it's really going to take off. It's definitely at the semi-pro amateur level where we're going to see the biggest kind of returns on player development and growth and everything like that. So I'm really excited about what's going on. And I heard USL maybe looking at starting a third division within the next couple of years. So I'm really amped for everything going on there.
Yeah,
So my last question here. I believe you're an Arsenal fan, right?
that's correct.
Okay. So I remember us talking before. So I just wanted to get your perspective. I feel like we've talked about Arsenal fans and their kind of incidents over the last month or two. Whether it's the Wenger and what's that?
You have to make an appearance in every podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So just wanted to kind of get your perspective on kind of the fans' behaviors and everything.
It's weird. I mean, I don't want to slight Arsenal fans, but they're a weird bunch. Maybe weird bunch. I don't know. It's just really weird because at how do I say this? I think Wenger is one of the best managers of recent history. During his time at Arsenal and what he's done with that club and just kind of created this culture of playing attractive soccer. This idea of it doesn't matter how old you are, if you're good enough, you'll play kind of thing. He's done some incredible things for the club, and I think a lot of people are kind of forgetting that based on this recent run of form or this lack of success, if we want to call it that, in recent history. But at the end of the day, I mean, the problem extends beyond him because at the club, a fourth place finish, that is considered successful. So all of these people that want Wenger out or think the club is better off without him, the problem isn't him. The problem is the board and what they believe success to be. And so I think the time is probably right for Wenger to leave. Personally, just because I think he should there should be a statue of him outside the Emirates Stadium, and he should be revered and worshipped. And I just feel like the longer this goes on, his that it's just tarnishing his legacy. Exactly. So I think I would like to see him, retire now, or not even retire. I'd like to see him go to a big team, go like PSG or someone that win the Champions League or whatever. I think he's more than capable of doing that. He's a great manager and he's done some incredible things. But I think at Arsenal, unfortunately, I think the time is now, just because I don't. It's just sad to see the laughing stock that the club has become, or these Wenger out memes, which are pretty funny. To be honest, I've enjoyed. I saw one today that someone photoshopped from like some protest back in like the '60s. They changed Wenger. I mean, it's really funny stuff. But he doesn't deserve that, and hopefully he can go out on a high. But I think it's time. But I do feel that the club we might take a little bit of time for us to bounce back from that. Maybe like what Man U has been experiencing or whatever else. It's not easy to find a replacement for a guy like that. But he's always done what he's felt to be the best interest of the club. So whatever that may be, it remains to be seen. But he's a legend, and I hope he's remembered that way, and not as we're seeing him in recent months and years.
Yeah, we're all on record, Christian, Matt, and I just think that he's a fantastic manager, absolute legend, and we're very, very high on him. But I think we probably agree that just the rising kind of fan tide and all of this likely means that it probably is time for him to go. But I think the fans are gonna miss him sorely when he's gone. So
yeah, no, he's just what we're used to, and he's that. I think his quote maybe got taken out of context where he said like I built this thing, but he did. We all, at least people my age and your age, we fell in love with that team because of the way they played and everything else, and that's all down to Wenger.
Absolutely. So Christian, I don't know if you had any other questions for Steve, or if not, Steve, give one last kind of plug to your social media. You can find it on Patron and all of that.
Yeah. So if you want to find out a little bit about me or my adventures, you just go to thesoccertour.com. There's a little about page, a video that kind of introduces you to the concept. You can find out a little bit more about me. Or the best way, maybe just go on Twitter. That's usually my preferred social media, just at the soccer tour, and learn a little bit more. See if it's your thing, if you like it, and then maybe consider reaching out, hanging out with me, showing me your city, giving me your monies, whatever you want to do. Just I'm open to it. So
yeah, he's an all right guy. So
I'm okay.
Everybody, yeah, it's all right. You can hang out with him.
Just,
I wouldn't do more than a couple hours though.
Yeah, and don't go painting with me, because I will paint better than you.
Yeah, and he'll get mad.
So.
Yeah, I will say did you freehand draw your first 30 days thing, Steve?
Yeah, I did. It was funny because my brother.
That was very impressive.
My brother's a graphic designer, and so I just kind of sketched up this thing. I was like, hey, I'll be hitting 30 days. It might be a good opportunity for me to like put something together. Maybe we'll get some pickup. And it did. People seemed to like it, and so I just kind of like sketched out an idea of like what I had in mind, and sent it to him. And I was like, could you whip something up on the computer? He's like, listen, man, this really fits well with your, just a guy in a van going for it kind of attitude. Why don't you just, post this, And I did a little cleaner copy in Sharpie, added a little bit of paint to, kind of spice it up, and just went with it. And yeah, it's not great by any means, but I enjoyed it. I think it gives people a really fun glimpse into a little bit of transparency of what it is like for me on the road, the money that I spend on things, the places that I visited, the weird things like how many times I've eaten fast food or visited a gym or things like that. Like, it's a pretty interesting look into what the first month was like for me.
Yeah, and I would say I was very impressed by it. So I thought it was really well done. I know you said it wasn't great, but I certainly thought it was great. So with that, yeah, Steve, I just want to thank you for taking a little bit of time to talk with us here. Good luck. Hope you have safe travels the rest of your way, and I'm definitely looking forward to hosting you when you're out in San Jose in September or early October.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a pleasure. I mean, your family here is awesome, and I love your house. And chilling in the basement right now. We're gonna go watch Christian soccer team and go see the Union tonight. So my time here has been great, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in San Jose.
Yeah, and I know he was saying how much he loves the Orlando Stadium. There's nothing like it, but just wait till you get him out in the River End at Talon Energy Stadium.
Oh, look at
nothing
that!
Like that either.
Look at that plug.
There you go. Very well done, Christian. Yeah, so hopefully you enjoy the Sons of Ben today, Steve. So with that, all the listeners, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you in a couple days. Thanks, everyone. All right, guys. So that was awesome. So Steve, yeah, thanks again, man, for taking time to talk with us here.
You got it. I'm just building this little poker chip castle as I speak.
Oh wow, mine's already up and 6 minutes in.
No.
Bayernus against is Pulisic starting?
Pulisic did start.
Okay, I gotta turn that on. Is it on Fox?
Yeah, I assume so.
Awesome. All right, Christian, good luck in your game today.
Thank you.
And I hope you guys enjoy the game tonight. Hopefully the Union get a win. I hope to God they get a win. They need a win.
How have they been this season? I have
not good. 2 points. Yeah, 2 points. I mean they've been on the road 3 out of the 4 matches, but they not doing well.
No,
I'm gonna predict a Valeri bicycle kick.
That's not for
I'm just calling it.
I'll call you. He does that, but I hope it doesn't go in.
There you go. All right,
yeah.
It's gonna take a bike.
Andre Blake will make a flying save.
It's just gonna go 20 yards wide anyway.
Yep. All right, guys. Yeah, so that's it. So I'll edit it and probably have it up sometime later today.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool. All right. Have a good rest of your day.
Okay, bye.
Bye. All right, I need to do a couple reads here. Let me quick tell you about our sponsor, Fan Futsal here. So we're all busy people, right? We barely have enough time to read or check all our snaps, Twitter feeds, and Facebook profiles, let alone eat or sleep. With so much of our time already accounted for, who has the time to spend hours on fantasy soccer research? Not me, and I'm assuming a lot of our listeners don't either, which is why Fan Futsal is the perfect game for you. In Fan Futsal, you select 5 clubs instead of 8 to 11 individual players for your weekly fantasy teams. You then use your knowledge, skills, and intuition to arrange those clubs into a formation and positions that emphasize different scoring attributes. Our only fantasy scoring elements are goals scored, goals conceded, and the result of the match, so you only need to follow match scores. If you've never played fantasy soccer before, or if you have played and don't love the experience, Fan Futsal is the game for you. You don't need to worry about lineup rotations or player injuries. You don't need to follow detailed player stats across multiple matches at the same time. Plus, it's really easy and quick to set lineups on Fan Futsal. We have games from the major European leagues, as well as games from Liga MX in Mexico and MLS in the US. It only takes a few seconds to sign up, and there's no long commitment since our games are weekly. Check out a unique, simple fantasy soccer experience at FanFutsal, FanFutsal.com today. And with that, let's get back to our podcast. Hey everyone, if you want to get in contact with us, our email is bros.talking.soccer@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is @BTSoccerPod. And everything again was brought to you by Fan Futsal, FanFutsal.com. It's a different way to play fantasy soccer. Check it out. You're going to love it. With that, okay.